Alright, at the last meeting you had indicated that you wanted me to explore putting the kitchen over in this region here, trading it for the living area, putting the living area down here, and adding some sort of bathing facility to this half bath. First though, before we do that, I just want to mention a few things if I can remember them. Number one, this wall is technically, that can move in any direction, this way or that way, that fits our design. That has to be tempered with how close it gets to this door, because this door I don't have going much further south than this. Secondly is with regard to all of this area under the stairs in the various ways it's used in these plans. This is all critical, and all of this will meet code, and so that space must be captured regardless. It will be a little challenging, but it's not a difficult thing to do. So all of that is doable, and all of it needs to be done for any of these plans that you've seen so far, or any of the ones to come. Finally, the third thing I want to mention is that in any of these plans that you'll see today, or any that we've seen so far, with the limitations that we talked about at the last meeting, any of these can be done regardless of whether that second story addition is added over this space here, with the result that there's a slope ceiling here and a beam here, generally a beam here. So just know those three things. This wall can go anywhere. This is all critical space in any plan, and any of these living rooms here or kitchens here can be done regardless of whether the second story is added over. That much said, before we go forward, here's a section view through here looking this way, how this toilet is put back in here under these stairs and what kind of clearances you have. This is the code required 80-inch clearance in front with 30 inches in front of it that way, and here is the stair framing coming down with a little soffit and a place to store some towels and paper, etc. But to return to the floor planning, if you recall the last time, when the stairs are kept in their existing orientation, this was the best, where we'd arrived at the best full bath that we were going to accomplish upstairs, and that's only if this addition is added back here to the north. Whereas with the stairs coming up from the living room this way, the best bath that we'd arrived at that point was this one here, and a few little changes here and there on this bath, adding a skylight if that's possible. If not, maybe an opening through here, switching the sink over to this side. The advantage of this, these are the dimensions. One particular advantage of, even though I don't think it's the better bath of those two, one particular advantage is pretty distinct, is that this clears this hallway out, widens this hallway and its passage out through here. So now we're able to get full 80-inch doors with no clipping of the corners or no special work there. So that is an advantage of having the stairs come up this way, even though the bath I think is less, it's not as good as this one. But so that was looking through here. Anything can happen here, furniture, desks, whatever. I'm just showing some cabinetry for linen storage, towels and so forth. You've got all the storage in the world on this floor anyway, but I just didn't want to add one more closet across here, so I have that left open. And the bathroom itself, you're familiar with these kind of passage through here. This just lets some light in, some ventilation if you wanted it. Show this skylight, if it were possible. A wider one would be better. This is the most narrow because we're not sure exactly where the framing is for this roof. I don't think it'll be added anyway, but I thought I might as well show it. Gives the person more headroom. And that's just different finishes here. In terms of that window and privacy though, this is a 6'6" guy standing out here on the landing, and you can see that privacy inside here is not going to be compromised by this opening. That could even be just an opening, although that's, I don't know. In any case, even if you wanted that as an operating awning window that swung out this way, you can see that it would still do that and no one could see in or anything of that nature. Returning to the first floor though, and the approach of getting this kitchen moved from here up to there, it's essentially just rotated around, pushed up in there. Probably lose a 12 or 15 inches on this bank here, even more on this here, but this becomes a smaller kitchen with a larger living area down here then. I think the kitchen is still adequate to serve the house. Note that, and this was an issue down here as well, but note that the refrigerator is shifted to a 30-inch refrigerator, and most of these refrigerators need clearance on the right-hand side for the door to swing all the way open. This side-by-side model said 3 inches was the minimum. So maybe there are better models. This should have probably been a single hinge refrigerator anyhow, rather than this double French hinge. But that's something to keep in mind, is that I'm showing the 3 inches there. Whether we need a little bit more than that, or whatever refrigerator you get, that has to be accounted for. And then this was just the first look of rotating this kitchen around. We had to add this leg of wall here to accommodate at least some cabinetry to the left of the range. And there's without the dimensions. And here's essentially how it looks. We're not going to do that, so that's not even a consideration, as you can see. I made various explorations with a window here. It's not this one, probably not this one either. And with any of these windows, if we put a sill on it and finish it like these others, which it should be, that could also compromise the swing of a door here, so it's something to keep in mind. I like the kitchen having been relocated up here, not just for the fact that it makes a bigger living space down here, but I think it's going to serve the house itself better located here, and I wanted it east anyway. So I'm a fan of the kitchen here, and then it's just a case of how can we make that work the best with the rest of it. We knew that we needed to get some place to shower or bathe in this half bath down here. So that was the first thing to do, is add a shower there. This door goes down by 8 inches, so we lose 8 inches on this depth, and this space wasn't really, nothing much was happening there. So that was the first shower, 36 by 42. This entrance is somewhat under the landing, but this is full height, or as high as we want it to be. And this short section of film might give you a little bit of an idea of how that bathroom, that shower is tucked in under there, how the rest of it looks in this condition here. And I want to mention with regard to this door and all these plans, keep an eye on it, because I show it here. This is with the typical storm door, and granted, you could always use one of these sliding screen doors that just slides across. Then it's not really even an issue. But I'm showing it with the screen door outside, and when it's hinged this way, you kind of have to step around it to open the door and get in. Whereas with it hinged the other way, it's much easier to have a regular storm door outside and get in and unkey it and everything else. But this doesn't introduce very well to the rest of the living area. So probably that's what I think you should probably settle on, is it hinged that way, and just deal with this storm door, or just get one of these slide a zip screen, what they call a zip screen, and it coils in. You're probably familiar with it, where you don't have any storm door outside. It's weather protected anyway, and it'll be weather stripped, etc. So the coldness isn't so much an issue as getting in and out. And this isn't too bad here, and I don't know if it gets worse in other plans. It may or may not. but that's just something to keep in mind. Additionally, with regard to any of these plans, in any of them, I have maintained a 3-foot zero door either here or here, sometimes at both locations. So none of the plans have just 2'8" doors. At least one of those entrance doors is going to be a 3-foot zero door, so that you can get furniture and big appliances and so forth in and out without cracking open the roof. Next though, since we had lost that entrance hall closet that was back here when we put in the shower, I wanted to try to get some sort of a closet, another closet in the first floor, preferably out here by the entrance. And so this is the next thing that happens. Granted, it's not very large. This goes to a 3-foot double door, so the door doesn't hang out beyond this. Notice this wall is pushed back some this way to give a little bit more space out here, and a little bit of space for this closet. And again, we have whether that's a 2'8" door or a 3-foot zero door. It has to be decided and which way it hinges. You can see here now it's gotten a little tighter in here. In here I wouldn't really want a storm door like this. You've got to come way back here and swing that out. So that's a constant consideration. Here I like it opening this way into the kitchen for coming in, etc., for introducing to the rest of this house. Here I've kept it back this way far enough to clear the casing so that this door is open, blah blah blah, but as far as you can go that way is about to there. And maybe it's smaller, give you a little bit more space outside. And here is that space dimension. The door flipped back around again, but the space dimensioned. This is actually about 12 to the back of the couch, 12'2" or so to the back of the couch by 11'6" from this to that. And this is how this entry looks then, put together like this, with this particular door, 3-0 swinging that way. This probably isn't the way to go, but this then is what that entrance hall would look like, at least the several looks at it, like this and that. And we'd have to decide whether we want a similar beam coming across here. It's not needed, but whether we want that to kind of set this area off. I'm assuming this would have a different floor covering than the rest. So I don't know if that's put in. I don't think it's needed. It's probably more complicated than it's worth. More experimentation with this window here. I wish I was showing that door switched around, because that's how I would do it, period, and just deal with the storm door outside however I have to, or screen door however I have to. I kind of like this one at the end. I like the view, I like the light. I like to be able to see who's coming to the door when you're at the kitchen sink without having to step around. I believe I've already talked about this island. Hopefully I have. If I haven't, I'm not going to discuss it again, but I think that should be a table with legs here, with the legs at the four corners, and a drawer at each end going that way and going this way. Nice drawers, 5 or 6 inches high. Still got plenty of leg room, but just particularly this one to provide another drawer within the kitchen, another top drawer within the kitchen. There's a 2'8" door, entrance door, 3'0", with or without that beam. There's the closet door open. Okay, and the next move I made, because I didn't particularly care, I didn't think that we needed this large of a shower for this little bath and just on this floor, and I thought this was just taking up this extra 6 inches here, was taking up some room. I didn't like how the floor covering interfaced with this, as you see in this photo here. Down here, not positive about that. I like this arrangement better. This wall was brought forward to provide a place for this railing to end without getting into an argument with this crown molding up here. So I pulled that back another 6 inches and went from 36 by 42 to 36 by 36 shower. Still have all the same clearances, still have the 2'4" door in here. And incidentally, if the bath upstairs, if the full bath happens upstairs, this door could actually be down to a 2'0" door. I've lived with one for 30 years and it's not bothered me. But it'll be maintained at 2'4" throughout the drawings. So I pulled that back. That's 6 inches. I didn't really like the result of that at the up here. I think that could probably be improved, but that was just put together for the moment, just to make sure that that's doable. I think it is. It just something needs improved up in this area here. But I do like how that, I just feel that's better than the other way. I did like that there was less of an offset at the floor covering down here, but I didn't care for that upper part there. I think it could be improved. And it could be that you actually want the little larger shower, 42 deep, front to back, rather than 36. And if you do, it doesn't really play a role. It can happen regardless. There's no impact because nothing really happens in this little area here. Next, though, we have to begin to deal with this here. I didn't really want this, and I didn't think it should be like that. So I started to experiment. These next several slides are going to be with regard to this region here. First, I thought the kitchen might be a little short on cabinetry space. I know it is on space for pots and pans and bigger items like that. I don't see any large drawers or anything like that. So I thought maybe a pantry is added here, a standard pantry that you open the door and it's all shelves top to bottom. I don't think that I would do this where it's just this piece. I think it has to come all the way across like this. Again, don't forget these model numbers are critical to identify anything. Some of these ones that are into the tens here, 62, 72, 92, those are where I've returned to revisit a particular plan. But this was one way to deal with it, and I think actually we could use a little bit more space in the kitchen and it won't kill us down here. And so I pulled that forward another 3 inches to take these from 18 inches wide to 21 inches wide. The washer and dryer are still back here, hooks on rails, shelves in here, and a full pantry here with a 3'0" door from the mudroom. Perhaps there are little doors put on that if you wanted be able to close off noise or something like that. That's about the only doors I can imagine. I guess you could use a pocket door, a 3-foot pocket door sliding this way if you want it, across here. And there, that's where I arrived at. This was the area dimensioned. Now you see it, it's 12.2 by 11.4, the usable space here, but really it's 15, almost 16 foot down here from the foot of the stairs over. And here's a view of that arrangement with the pantry here and the shelves from that side in there and the recessed door. And then this was pulling that another 3 inches forward, helping out the workspace to the left of the range. And I know I probably said I'd try to keep this from getting confusing, but I'm probably going to fail in that. Alright, at the risk of making a already fairly confusing film even more so, I needed to return even after the film was uploaded. I returned to this plan with the stairs going this way to look at one other thing. Because after I had developed this bathroom and mudroom arrangement for one of these plans that has the stairs in their existing location, I couldn't help but wonder whether or not that component might be plugged into the plans with the stairs going this way. And then see maybe about developing the laundry down here. And of course, I mean, it did work, arriving at this. Model numbers up here. And it did work, of course, like this. Here's the model numbers, don't forget those. So this was the first laundry, but putting that whole component up in here, leaving these stairs in place, This was the first laundry I developed. There is a wall, a dividing wall here because of some structural issues going up the stairs and etc. So this was the first laundry plan. Everything fits in here, everything's code compliant, etc. This wall though does divide these two machines. Just a little, the only change between 65 and 65A is this door. We have a 3-foot door back here now permanently. So this door, I just made that smaller. It's just squeezing that closet too much. Whether that closet has a 24-inch door and this a 3-foot double door, or we shrink the closet and make this a 40-inch door, would have to be, balanced out and decided. But then the next laundry, well, here we go again with this door. Finally, I decided I can't have this far in the corner. I don't care if it's, you have to have it closed to open this closet door, which you pretty much did anyway. So I just pushed it back like this, more toward the center of that, give a person room to get in and out this storm door if one exists, or even just to step around this and get in. And then I'm pretty sure this will be the final, very close to the final permutation. Everything stays the same up in here, except to add a label. And then the laundry, I rotate these machines around where you can get them side by side. This too all works. I don't think anything happens. Yeah, nothing changes with these doors here except for the laundry. This takes a little more work. There's a special member coming through here, but it's not overly complex at all, and opens this whole space up. And this is lowered area down in here, and the ceiling slopes down here, or about here it slopes down. I think I have, and this is kind of what that would look like then inside. Really like how it uses that space. You can see there's room for your machines. I guess if somebody was needed it, these machines could come closer together, and some sort of small laundry sink could go in here. I know there's 15 inches of room, so you could have a 15-inch laundry sink in here with the trash moved elsewhere. Here's a section view of that, how it looks through there. And then the final move just endeavors to make this closet a little larger at the expense of 4 inches in the laundry room here. Like this. And now we can return to your regularly scheduled film. And this is one of these plans that I had returned to 63. But I had worked with this a little bit more before I even pulled it those 3 inches, just working with the 18, and this was actually the first when I pulled it forward without the pantry at all. We just had the laundry wandering around in there, and there was space to be used. This is kind of an unfinished plan here. So that was actually the first thing I looked at, is just recessing a full height food pantry cabinet in here without a standard door. I wasn't sure that I liked the look of that though, or the expense compared to just buying a door and putting some shelves in, which is going to be just as effective as the cabinetry. Kind of wanted to keep this more living space back here and not have that kitchen flavor spilling over here, even though I feel like this pantry should happen in any plan. But before I decided upon that, the criticalness of that pantry, I experimented with some other alternatives back here in this space. And so this is just going to be a run through of photos of those various changes. This was the bare minimum we needed for the kitchen with these 18-inch cabinets here and here. And this was adding that regular pantry. Open, see all the shelves in there, plenty of storage. And then, I wouldn't do this. I don't think this looks good with this notch and that chair pushed back there. So if the pantry's done, I think that should probably just be admitted and pulled over and provide some shelves out here in the mudroom. And this was getting the extra 3 inches at the left of the range. You see it with just the pantry, pulling that across, and there's the extra 3 inches picked up at the range, which I also think that should happen as well. So all of the plans from here forward will show this wall located at this location here. These were those later ones, the earlier ones, however you want to say it, without the food pantry here. This provides a nice space for art, and maybe there is enough space here or elsewhere in the house for food storage, I don't know. I guess pots and pans can go over here, or maybe this island has some sort of shelving, open shelving for pots and pans. That was the built-in pantry there, which that works too. As far as that goes, that works too. This was when I moved the laundry to the other side of that room back here. So the door's over the laundry. That's a little coat closet back there in the mudroom. That's the recessed coat closet to clear that swing, the door swing. And then there was some work with these windows here, working with what we do exactly with these windows on that wall. Look at it from this side. Similar experimentations. Probably something like this is safest in terms of furniture arrangement, but there is good view out this corner here, so it argues for something like this. The window heads have to be kept lower than these because we have that ceiling. Well, if we don't do the addition, we have the ceiling. We have a beam somewhere here, and then the ceiling slopes down if we don't do the addition. But those windows can't go any higher because of that aluminum awning out there, or aluminum patio cover out there. So something like that is nice and mellow, easy in one window. So thus far, all this film has been concerned with moving the kitchen up here and dealing with this back here with the stairs like this, reoriented like this. All of these G plans from about, all of the G plans, some of the G plans, the kitchen's down here, but all of the G plans are showing the stairs coming up this way across the landing and up. But once that was all done, once the kitchen was put up in this region here, definitely knew that we would be remiss if we didn't revisit the stairs in their existing location with the kitchen in this location here, and whatever happens here happening here. So recall our old friend F1 with the stairs in their existing location brought a little closer to code. And now we move the kitchen up here and see how that works out. But of course, at that point, or this point, this did not include any kind of bathing facility for this half bath on the first floor. And one of the first ways I looked at getting a bath in there loses the closet, the little entry closet, which is too bad, but it's a necessary cost. The shower is a minimum code requirement, 30 by 30. They sell these bases, so it's doable. This is over 3 foot wide, so the toilet has a generous space in here with a cabinet over it. Alternatively, if you want a bigger shower and don't mind a little more constricted toilet space, this is still code compliant, but it's certainly more constricted than this. On the other hand, the shower gets larger. That is with regard to keeping the laundry facility up in here and everything happening here like this, the stairs going up here, and that what I felt was a better bath on the second floor. And maybe that, for that matter, there's no reason not to bring that toilet forward a little bit further, and you could have a deeper cabinet above it, and maybe that helps your feeling. But it's still, 16 inches from this wall and 16 inches from this wall. You have a little bit more feeling space here. But that was the bath. That was the first bath, or the baths that I came up with for under the stairs. Either that one, or this one, or this one. So the next thing is, well, maybe we can move the laundry back over here, like this. I was just showing you this extra table with this living space and the stairs out of the way. Now there's room actually for a living space here, whether this whole thing is living space or just this area here. In any case, there's room for a substantial table at this location. You probably don't like it right outside the bathroom, but so maybe the bathroom moves over here and the laundry comes down here. Which, that possibility of having additional table or living space here and not wanting the bathroom right adjacent to it like that, it argues for bringing the laundry back over here as shown in some of the much earlier plans, like this. And again, same discussion. This can be a stack machine here, and this could, one thing bringing the laundry back over here does is brings the closet back to the entry, which I think is a good thing, and kind of prefer this. I don't like that the bathroom's so far from this bedroom. This is the first bath I drew up here. I don't like that that bath is so far from this bedroom, but I think maybe the laundry is better down here. And remember, we had a little space in here that would come back for a little wastebasket within the laundry. So whether it's separate machines or stacked machines and some other arrangement here, once you make that decision, we might revisit this area a little. But this was the first bath. It was keeping this squared here. I think it's not the way to go, but it was just the first one I drew. This is an available sink, a corner sink. The shower is the same size as it was down here, 38 by 38, and that doesn't change. We are utilizing the space over that stairwell to pick that up. Again, it's code compliant. It was a squeeze to get everything code compliant, but it is code compliant. But even though I don't really like diagonals, I don't like this here. I think it's too constricted. So I don't think I want to really draw that. And before we look at some of the alternatives, I want to show to show you how some of this is working. I'll show you a section through here looking that way, and then a section through here looking that way. Because you notice I show another linen cabinet or toiletry cabinet or towel cabinet, whatever you want to call it, over this toilet, and it's pushed right up to the back side of the pantry here. And over here I'm showing a bench down here with hooks on a rail above it and shelves above that. So this is the first section looking through this bench and this way here. And you can see here's the bench here, and the 6-inch wall for insulation and a couple shelves above that. We have this space out here in the stairwell. A person could put 8 or 9 inch deep shelves there for additional cold storage or paint can storage or some usage in any case. So that was the section looking that way and the way that was put together here. If we go and turn around and look the other way, looking through that toilet cabinet, this is the shower. I show a little window in it, of course. And this is this big linen cabinet over the toilet. And you can see it's pushed back up to the back side of the pantry with the drywall covering the back side of it. It's quite simple, and it uses that space and gives us that opportunity while maintaining this at 15 or 16, 17 inches deep, this pantry cabinet, pantry closet here. But as I said, even though I don't really like diagonals, I didn't care for this. It's just, to me, it's too constricted coming in here and weaseling all the way back here to go to the toilet. So I think if the bath is put up here, then probably something like this is better. If this does not change this section view through here, that stays the same. It does add a 27-inch full height toiletry and towel cabinet here, so this probably wouldn't even be needed, although the toilet can't go back any further anyway, so you may as well have it. And actually I think that door probably swings this way. We need a place to put a light switch. You can see if that cabinet goes in here, there's no real space for a light switch on this side. So, and plus I like this door opening this way better. It could stay open back here if it wanted to be. Gives you a 23-inch door into the shower. Here's one. And the final thing that happens, I believe, is if this laundry goes down here, we don't really need this to be 3'0" or 3'1" for the toilet or shower in here, and so that could shift back over 4 inches, which picks it up at this kitchen bank here. You'll see that door open full like that, and then the switch would be right around the corner underneath that cabinet, with other switches for the shower, lighting and ventilation, etc. on this wall. Here's some overviews of that little bathroom back there, with the shower and the window. Everything's code compliant. You can actually pick up some of this cabinetry here. Come around. Here's those little shelves out in the stairwell, the shelves in the mudroom hall, and the full height pantry or full height linen cabinet here. It's 12 inches deep, but it is full height. And the switch for the lighting is back under here. And here's the bench out in the mudroom, the hooks, the shelves, etc. And this couch is actually not 92, but 72. Take out all the furniture and you have an idea of what it looks like once it's built and outfitted. And here are the dimensions in place. So over half of the building down here in length is a big cavernous room. And again, I can't emphasize, this table should probably be on this table or island or whatever it is. Should probably be on some sort of locking wheels. I mean, if you're into that sort of efficiency, so that people could do what they wanted down here on a whim. So once I re-explored putting a kitchen up here with the stairs in place, I also revisited that second floor bathroom. Recall that this was the bathroom with a little tighter of a hall through here. It's still code compliant, but it's still a little tighter of a hall through here. Nothing changes up through here, but I make a few little changes here, a few little options. I want to show a few options on this bath in case you go this way, so that you can keep this in mind. Again, I don't think these skylights are happening, but nevertheless I'm showing them because they're convenient and they get light into this building. Also, here there was some space that was available for, particularly if this becomes a desk or something like that out there. Here's a little cabinet, 12-inch high, 30-inch wide by 12-inch high cabinet, pushed back here above the toilet for your toiletries or whatever you have. There's no real room for a vanity, a standard vanity in here. And over here, whether this is cabinetry for toiletry and linen, there's room that could be a dressing table instead. Also be aware that the shower, the tub arranged this way with the shower head this way, that gives you your code compliancy right there. And how long that tub becomes is immaterial. So if you want a longer tub, there's a 5.5 foot tub. A few little changes here, but nothing much. This becomes a little more shallow. It's only 15 inches deep now. But that's if you wanted a longer tub. You're not tall, so it's probably not a consideration. But it was doable. And finally, if you think that toilet is too close to the door, there's room to push it back to that maximum. If you don't add the addition at the back, this was what we had for a half bath at the second floor. And finally, I think there's a few more alterations on the second floor bath if you go with the stairs this way. This was where we were, and then just to be aware, if you didn't, if you get the shower on the first floor, and you don't, and a person wanted to go without a tub period, they could actually gain some space in this bedroom 3 back here by putting a shower in there instead. I'm showing a huge shower, big generous shower with a bench here, and optional skylight, and the ceiling starts sloping here, but you're not going to bump your head until if you sit down you're fine. So that was a little bit of a different thing, and when I did that, when I shifted that and got rid of that tub, because at the tub you needed space in front of it here, that's the requirement. But getting rid of that and going to a straight shower, if this was your place and you didn't need a tub, for example, that lengthens bedroom 3, as well as taking away some of this space here, 6 inches of that space or so. But it lengthens bedroom 3 by about 1.5 feet. And the dimensions on the second floor. So I'm pretty sure that this has all become very confusing, but feel free to get with me on any additional clarification I could provide.